Good morning, Vinyl community. It's Phil at Destination Vinyl. Thanks for tuning in and giving me a little bit of your time. Welcome to my channel. I haven't done a video in a long time. It's been probably close to a year, I think. A lot happened last year. We sold our townhouse down in the Lower Mainland, busy part of Vancouver, and moved up 6 hours into the country to a little outside of a little town called Williams Lake that counted about 10,000 people. We're about half an hour outside of it in a nice log home on a lake. And it's been 7 months of unpacking and setting up and decorating and painting and all sorts of stuff that comes when you do a big move. I have finally got my record area sort of set up. You can see in the background my Queen banner and a Tragically Hip poster. Over in the far corner I got a couple of video or movie posters. And my record collection is on its shelves over there. I've got my shelving unit up. Trying to get that in the picture if you can see all of that. Sorry if I'm making you a little bit seasick there. But I am overdue for a new laptop, so I'm hoping this works. Yeah, it's acting up lately. It's 4 or 5 years old. It's time for a new one. So this is my vinyl tag, 2023. This is a hybrid vinyl tag in that there are at least 3 different versions of this, 3 different sets of questions that I found. And I'm sort of doing a blend of some of them because there were a couple of questions on every one of them that I couldn't answer. And I wanted to do 20 questions and not 17 or 16. For example, new band I discovered last year, I didn't find any. Best new release last year, I didn't have any new releases last year that I bought. Hat trick, album, CD, cassettes, whatever, I didn't have anything in 3 formats. So I've sort of shunted those questions aside and come up with some other questions from another vinyl tag. So we're going to get to that right now. I don't want to keep you here too long. So 20 questions, vinyl tag 2023. My best find. My best find was a grail I've been looking for a while, and that was Fleetwood Mac Bare Trees. This is from 1972, obviously pre the Nicks and Buckingham era, and this is a great album. A buddy of mine had it and played it for me once, and I didn't understand how I missed that one, but I did, and I now have it at last. I found that in a little shop in Kamloops, which is a town in the interior about 3 hours away from us. There are no record stores here where I live. There are no record stores. I have to go 3 hours to the nearest town to get to a record store, and they have 2. One is Sunrise, and they have this one Barnacle Records, which is new and used. That's where I get my used stuff from. I've only been there once since we moved, so hopefully I'll make it there again this summer. Second, last band I saw live. Well, that was 2 of them. That was April last year, and that was down in Abbotsford in the Lower Mainland. And funny enough, that was actually a Christmas present from 2019, was tickets to see this concert, but then COVID hit and it got postponed twice, and I didn't see it till last year, 2022 in April, and that was ZZ Top and Cheap Trick. So I picked that one to show greatest hits, fantastic collection, and I just pulled that one out of my Cheap Trick collection blindfolded, so in another world, it's another great album. But both, I had seen ZZ Top once before. I had never seen Cheap Trick, one of my favorite bands. Every time they came to town, I was busy or couldn't get tickets or no one to go with, whatever. So I finally got to see them, crossed them off my band to see list. The perfect album. There are so many. Where do you start? Everyone's going to show same old, same old. I went back a little bit to show something a little bit different than what I'd seen on the vinyl tags that I saw. And I'm picking Supertramp, Crime of the Century. To me, this is a perfect album. School, Bloody Well Right. Every song on here is a classic, if you ask me, in my opinion. So that to me is a perfect album, but I could have listed off a dozen or 2 dozen of them. Terrible album cover. And I feel bad doing this because this is one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time, and that's Bruce Springsteen, The River. Do I really need to see a close-up every pore in your damn face? No, I don't. You could have picked anything. The scene with the river in it, for example, would have been really cool. You know, hint, hint, Bruce. You don't need to see your face on every album cover. Don't show the band on every album cover. Don't show the artist. Just pick something. On the first album, yeah, we know what you look like. Okay, just show something else. Show some artwork. But that is a terrible album cover, but it's a fantastic album. Um, an album that would surprise my friends. Yeah, this would surprise my friends. I'm pretty sure. They know I like the movie. I don't think they know I have the soundtrack. And that is from 1970. Ooh, what was it? 71 or 72? I forget what it was. But it's a musical, a western musical about gold miners with Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood and Gene Seberg. And that was Paint Your Wagon. This is the soundtrack for it. Some pretty cool music on it. It was a funny movie. It was never meant to be taken seriously. It was funny. If you haven't seen it, kill an hour and a half. It's funny. Just watch it. The ending is just hilarious. Um, a guilty pleasure. I had trouble with this one because I don't really believe in guilty pleasures. There is just pleasure to me. I don't feel guilty for liking this. I don't feel guilty for having a lot of things in my collection that people mock. Well, whatever. I like it. But this would, I suppose, if someone else was to call it guilty pleasure, this would probably rate. And that's Bay City Rollers' Greatest Hits. Only album I got by them, I got a couple of 45s, and I found this in a bin, a dollar bin actually. It says sale $5.99, but I found this in a dollar bin at one of my stores down the Lower Mainland when I lived there. And, it's got a lot of good hits on it. And plus, I DJ parties now and then, and everybody wants to hear that stuff, so why not have it? Um, album that took the longest to find. I started looking for this when I was about 16, 17, and I found it 2 years ago, and I'm 60 now, so that took me a long freaking time to find this. People are going to say, why did you look that long for this? But it's a British band, Status Quo, one of my favorite bands, and it's If You Can't Stand the Heat. Sorry about the glare, but all these are in poly sleeves. But I love that album. I love that band. Good old, just 3-chord boogie rock. Uh, they're really fun. They're really fun live too. They opened Live Aid, institution in England and Europe. They just never made it over here in North America. Um, let's see, what's next? Album with an animal on the cover. I had quite a few, but this one I picked Blackfoot Strikes. And it's got a big cobra on the front. Pretty cool album cover, pretty cool band. I'm not big into Southern rock, but I like those guys. An Australian band, and I picked Midnight Oil, and I'm showing this one because that is a really cool album cover. I gotta take that out. You can't see it. That is a really cool album cover. Yeah, I gotta do something about the lighting down here. This is my first video down here in my new setup, and I haven't got the lighting down yet, but I will. I will fix it. I got to get back into the groove of doing videos again. My friend Bernard in Quebec has been saying I should do more videos and that he would watch them, and he did a Vinyl Tag 23, so I said I got to come and do this. I will get this fixed. Lost them in 22. Very sad. We lost so many people over the last few years. It's just not right. I mean, I hate this getting old thing. All my favorites are passing on. But the one that hurt the most last year, I didn't even know she was sick, and that was Olivia Newton-John. Like, I knew she had cancer, but I didn't know it had progressed to the point where she was, that ill that she was going to pass away. But that was Olivia Newton-John's first Greatest Hits volume. Just a tragic loss. Such a beautiful lady, such a beautiful person. Next one is band you have the whole catalog of. Sorry about that. Band you have the whole catalog of. And I got a few, but most of them have so many albums, I didn't want to spend all day showing them. So I am going to show you my BTO collection. And that's Blackwood Turner Overdrive 1. Second album. And these are local. These were local when I lived down the Lower Mainland. They were from Vancouver. Met Randy Bachman a couple of times. at record fairs. He likes to buy records too occasionally. Head On, fantastic album. This is the one with the poster that folds out. And Not Fragile, another good headbanging hard album. I love that one too. And another classic, Four Wheel Drive. And then we got the, this isn't really part of the catalog because it's live, but it's a Live in Japan. Then we got Greatest Hits So Far. And then in the less successful time for me, they just, I don't know, the quality of it went down a little bit, but I still like it. Freeways, Street Action, that was shot on Granville Street down in Vancouver. Rock and Roll Nights, not a great album, but it's listenable. And then they did a reunion sort of thing and put out an album a bunch of years later, and this is just called Back in Turner Overdrive. That is a great album. That is BTO returning to their old form. And then there's this Live thing, again, not really part of the catalog, but I just thought I would show it because I have it, and I'm showing every album I got of theirs. And that's my BTO collection. What are we up to now? We are up to number 12. Yeah, number 12. Run of 3 great albums. Again, there were so many bands I have that had so many. You know, I could have gone Styx, Cheap Trick. I could have gone BTO again. I could have done Queen, Eric Clapton, but I decided to go with the immortal Zeppelin. So Zeppelin 4, Houses of the Holy, and of course the awesome Physical Graffiti. And just, you know, I think everybody has those in their collection. Enough said, right? They're just awesome albums. An 80s soundtrack. And again, I got a few, but I picked this one because I had trouble finding this one, and a friend of mine who had a record store down in the Lower Mainland saved this for me last year. That's Christine soundtrack. A lot of cool old music on this. Back cover scenes in the movie. Awesome movie. If you haven't read the book, read the book too. Stephen King is really a good read too. The book is a little bit different from the movie, like the usually are. It goes into a bit more detail, but yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Album cover that doesn't match the music. And again, I went Southern Rock. When I saw this in the record store when I was well, I won't say a kid, but I was a lot younger. I was in my 20s, I think, when this came out. Maybe I was still 18, but that was Molly Hatchet. Saw this album cover and I thought, wow, that's going to be cool. And I really should have paid closer attention to the back cover. You know, guy with the shirt that says Redneck Power right there should have given it away. And, you know, Bounty Hunter, Gator Country, a couple of song titles. I should have known right then it was Southern Rock. I'm really not into Southern Rock, but I really wanted this album cover. And actually, I was surprised. I actually liked it. I liked the first 2 Molly Hatchet albums. After that, they sort of lost me. But the first 2 are really good. And I enjoy that album. I still play that once in a while. A wild card. Yeah, I had a couple of things I could show. Wild card. In the background there, I've got, you can just see it, I've got the Eagles 76 Live at the Forum. I just picked it up off Amazon, but that's a this year purchase. So I thought I'd show this, and this is the Best of Bond of the James Bond collection. This is a 3-album set, all the themes from every James Bond movie. At least I think it's got every one. It's even got right up to the No Time to Die, the last one that came out. Here's the sleeve, and this is a trifold. So it lists all the songs and the movies they come from. And the album labels all have the James Bond revolver scene on them. And yeah, it's really cool to dive back and think, yeah, I remember when that movie came out. That was that's a really cool collection. I really like that one. I'm not going to fight with the sleeve right now. It takes forever to get it put back in. Number 16, a non-vinyl purchase. Well, I thought I would show the Queen banner that you see hanging behind me here. I actually picked that up 3 years ago, but because of the state of my room and the fact we were selling the house and moving and all packed up, I didn't really have anywhere to display it in my other house, so I've got it up now. But I thought that's something I actually bought last year, and I'm not a huge country music fan, but I do like this artist. And I walked into this, my wife and I were on holiday before we moved on our anniversary vacation, and I walked into this little store to pick up, I don't know, a warm sweater or something, because it was colder than what we thought. We were by the ocean. And she was shopping, I was browsing through the book section, and I saw this. And it's a Garth Brooks anthology, first 5 years of his career. And not only is it a really good tell-all thick book, a lot of photos, really cool book, but it's also got, if you open up the inner sleeve, the inner sleeve of the book, it's got 5 CDs. Yeah, his first 5 albums on CD. I had a couple of them already, but you know, came with the collection, and I think I paid like $8 for this. I remember when this book came out, they were asking, they were asking $40. That's US. It was like 50 up here, and I thought, I'm not paying that for these country. I just don't like it that much. But I think I saw this on clearance for like $8. So I thought, hell yeah, I'm gonna get that. Why not? A Grail find. Yeah, this one I got last year at my friend Crazy Bob's in Langley, and I'd been looking for this one for a long time, and that was Joni Mitchell, Ladies of the Canyon. And of course, this has Morning Morgantown on it, and the song Ladies of the Canyon, and of course Big Yellow Taxi and Woodstock. And it's in not bad shape. Little, you know, ring wear around the edge. It's an original pressing, which I was shocked to find, but I was in there 2 weeks beforehand, and I asked him about it, and he says, no, we never see that album. When we do, it's gone the second I put it out on the shelf. And I walked in there a couple of weeks later after that, because he had called me and says, I got something for you, and there it was. He said, yeah, it came in. Because you can never tell what walks in the door in auctions and lots that he buys, so I was really happy to find that great album. A space theme album. I thought I'd do something like 2001 Space Odyssey, but that's just too simple. So I went with an actual rock band that has a space theme album, and my friend Bernard will love this, and that's Boston Third Stage. I like this cover the best. Of all their albums, I like this one the best. That to me shows, you know, some real imagination. And there's the back cover, and inside. But yeah, all the songs on this are about space flight, except for Amanda, I guess. We're ready to launch, cool the engines, destination, new world. It's a really cool album. Um, after this one, I sort of lost interest in Boston. I never heard anything from the albums that came after that, and quite frankly, I just didn't bother trying for some reason. I never heard it on the radio, and never saw it in the stores. And just, I think at that point they weren't coming out on vinyl, and maybe that's why I lost interest. But yeah, that's Boston Third Stage, really good album. But the last one I have of theirs. Then we get into Show VCLT, and this is the third time I'm going to mention my friend in Quebec, Bernard, because he sent me from a vinyl record store day, Stampeder's Greatest Hits, Canadian band out of Calgary, Alberta, from the late 60s, early 70s, early to mid 70s. Fantastic band. I don't think they were big down in the States. I don't know if they made international rock. But this is a double album, silver and gold, all their hits. Just a fantastic collection. I was really hoping to get this one. I was so disappointed when I lined up at the stores that were participating in Record Store Day in my area at the time, and not one of them had brought this in. So I walked away from Record Store Day empty-handed, or so I thought. And I was telling Bernard about this, and he says he's going to get it for me. He says he found it. So Bernard, my friend, thank you. Just believe me, this gets played. I love that. And an album from 1973. I don't know why they picked 73. than the one that I looked at, but it was an album from '73, and I picked a classic Rod Stewart, Every Picture Tells a Story. That cover, just a regular Warner's label, but fantastic album. I really love this one. It's one of my favorites of Rod. Every Picture Tells a Story. Maggie May, Mandolin Wind, I Know I'm Losing You, Reason to Believe, great album. And that, my friends, is my vinyl tag for 2023. If my laptop will let me process this and actually load it up before it dies or has another blackout, hopefully this whole thing went through, I will post this in a little while. And maybe I'll get back into doing videos again now that I have a setup in my room. And this is the basement of the house, by the way. If you're after, I said earlier a log home. This is the basement. It's a concrete foundation. I'm sort of 2/3 below ground down here. But I will take you on a tour of the house one day when I can get a new laptop and a better camera. And yeah, that's about it. So I think I've kept you long enough. 21 minutes climbing. So have a good day. Thank you very much for your time. And cross fingers this works out and we'll see you again.